Are you feeling nervous and unprepared for your job interview? Imagine walking into the next job interview with confidence and knowing that you have the skills and strategies to impress any employer. Well, stay tuned because I'm going to share with you the top tips that I have as a recruiter of 14 years to help you to ace your next job interview. The first thing you want to do is research the company thoroughly. If you apply to the company, you can go to the company's website, go on their About Us page, on the careers page, go on all the different sections, different tabs of their website so you can learn more about what that company has to offer. You'll learn about their benefits, you'll learn about their training, you'll learn about their culture, you will learn about their story, how they started. You want to just really immerse yourself into that company, just learning more about the company, because that's what's going to help you to really understand if you're going to be a good fit for the role. And I know that hearing, are you a good fit for the role, sounds a little bit like, what? Why do I have to be a fit? Honestly, you have to be a culture fit. Yes, we need you to bring in the skill set, the experience to the job. But ultimately, a lot of times, as a recruiter tip, your personality is what sells you. So you want to make sure that you understand the company culture, and that's what's going to help you to know if you are really aligned to that company. Also, you want to use resources like Glassdoor, where you will find real human current and past employee reviews about the organization. A lot of times these reviews are like Yelp reviews where people will be honest. The good, the bad, the pretty, and the ugly, they will share it. So that will also help you to understand kind of what the style of the company is, maybe the workplace culture. Is it toxic? Are they not so toxic? Are they friendly? Are they inviting? Are they inclusive? You'll really get to know all these things by doing your research. So it's very, very important. If you know of anyone who in the past worked with that company, maybe a current colleague or someone that you just know throughout the industry, or even a friend, ask people what was their experience like working with that company. A lot of times people will be very honest with you and tell you exactly, where they fell short, the company, if they liked it or not, what was going on. So just ask around, ask people about their feedback. And remember, you won't know unless you ask. The second thing you want to do is to prepare your answers for the common interview questions. So there are very common interview questions that we ask as recruiters or even hiring managers. The tell me about yourself, why do you want to work here, what are your weaknesses, your strengths. Like, these are all things that we ask, and we know that these are those common questions. So you want to definitely look up Google, on YouTube, on TikTok. You want to just find out what are these common asked questions during an interview and how can I respond to it. Either you write them down, take notes, record yourself. Recording yourself is a great way to really tell how are you answering these questions. Are you nervous? Are you stumbling on your words? How are you responding to those questions? Practice your answers of tell me about yourself. For example, when you are asked the question, tell me about yourself, you don't want to ramble on and on and on. You do not want to say, well, I am a 22-year-old college student. I am looking for employment. I have no kids, or I have a kid. I have two kids. I'm married. None of that. You do not want to share it. Stick to your professional experience. Stick to you, who you are. When you introduce yourself in a professional setting, how do you do that? Hi, my name is Nada. Nice to meet you. I have 14 years in human resources. I have worked in all areas of HR, recruitment, benefits, in training and development, in all different areas. I'm also bilingual. I've worked in projects. I have achieved XYZ in certain goals and projects for the different roles that I've held. So many different things that you can say, but they are all role related, experience related, job related. Like, these are not things that I'm sharing about my personal life. You don't need to know that I have kids, that I'm married, or anything like that, because once you start going down that rabbit hole, those are definitely grounds for potential discrimination. And honestly, we do not want to go there. And yes, as recruiters, as hiring managers, we are taught we should not discriminate. But remember, we're humans at the end of the day, and we are thinking about, oh my gosh, if you have children, you probably are going to call out a lot, because you're going to call out if you need a sitter, if they're going to be sick or whatnot. And this is the first impression. The first impression, you don't want to already plant a bad seed in someone's head that you're not going to be a great fit for the company, for the role. So leave those personal matters out of the interview completely. Sometimes you will get recruiters and hiring managers that will ask you, tell me about what you like to do in your free time. Tell me about your personal life, your personal self. Keep it very vague. And you can also just say, I'm not comfortable really sharing that information right now during this interview. I would just like to just share my professional experience at this time. However, should I join the company, I would definitely be glad to really talk more and share more about what I like to do in my free time. And that stops the train right there. That's you remaining professional. When you are describing your experience, the third thing you want to keep in mind is to highlight your achievements. So for example, an achievement is obtaining a degree, obtaining a certification, completing certain projects, increasing sales, decreasing this, that. There are so many different things that are considered as achievements. So you want to be able to highlight that. So me, for example, I obtained my bachelor's degree. So that's one of my achievements. While I was working, I went to school for my bachelor's degree in human resources management. I also obtained my HR certification. That's another thing I brag about on my resume and during my interview. And then when it comes to actual work related achievements, I like to brag about a project where I led a recruiting project of 150 jobs to fill for a pre-opening hotel that took 2.5 years. It was for a new hotel that was being built. It took 2.5 years to actually finish the hotel and fill all the jobs. That was a huge task for me, where I spent countless hours, days and nights, focused on that project. I like to talk about that because in the end, when we finally opened the hotel, all the jobs were filled because we hosted a lot of mass hiring career fairs. We did a lot of networking, a lot of partnerships with local schools. So there were a lot of boots on the ground, especially that I led. So that's something that I am very proud of. I am also very proud of certain projects that I've had to either lead or I've been involved in. So those are things that I like to highlight. So remember, keep it to where what you've done. I know that you have worked on something that you are proud of at work. So definitely take advantage and talk about it. The interview is where you should be bragging about yourself. And I know that sometimes we are a little uncomfortable, and people will tell us, you got to humble yourself. You got to don't brag, don't this, don't that. But let me tell you something. In the interview, you have to brag about yourself. If you don't brag about yourself, who else will? I don't know you as the recruiter, as a hiring manager. I only got to know you based off of your resume. So now I want to get to know you verbally, face to face, or even virtual. So you want to make sure to really express yourself. How are you articulating your experience? I want to know more about you. Your resume already got you here into the interview. Now I want to hear it from you. The fourth thing that I will strongly encourage you to do is to dress professionally. And it doesn't matter what role you're applying to. Dressing professional is a nice top, a blouse that is covering you, that is not showing off your bust, ladies. We are guilty of that. Not too tight of clothes, not too revealing. If you're wearing a skirt, it can't be a mini skirt. Make sure that it's up to your knee at least, because remember, you are trying to make a first impression. And first impressions matter. Yes, they do. I have had interviews where I have met people and they've come in sweats, they've come in clubbing clothes, they've come in just rompers and just looking like they are going to go look for a job at the mall or Hooters. No shade to them, to those jobs, but if that is the area in the field that you're going to be working in, that attire might be a little bit more appropriate. You can get away with that. But if you are working in a professional setting, in an office, in a corporate office, dental office, lawyer's office, whatever sort of office, you definitely want to set the tone by the way that you look. If you can wear a blazer or a jacket, definitely get one and wear it. They are expensive. I get it. I have several and I've spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on just my office attire clothes throughout the year. So I totally understand. But there are places where you can go. Hit up the thrift store. The thrift store is a great place. I still hit up the thrift store. You can find a nice little jacket for 15, 20, 30 bucks and it's still in good shape. All you got to do is just take it to the dry clean, get it, washed and all that. And then wear it to your interview. There are also like Salvation Armies or nearby donation centers, that Goodwills that you can also go to. But you also have like the Rosses, the Marshalls, the Burlingtons. These are places where you can get nice name brand attire for the low. You don't have to go to an Express where you're definitely paying over $100, $200 for a blazer. So you could definitely find different ways, different places on how to make sure that you're dressing appropriately. And if you need inspiration on how to dress, look up Pinterest, look up on YouTube, TikTok, Google. Remember, you have this at the tips of your fingers. Use these resources. We're on our phones all day looking at mindless videos and whatnot. So you might as well take time out of your day to do what you need to do for your job, for the bag, because that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is collect that money back. And then for the gentlemen, I will say are pretty good at attire, but still, I would still recommend as well, try to look sharp, clean, hygiene. Ladies and gentlemen, please comb your hair, brush your teeth. I know it sounds like, why do you have to say all that? But you would be surprised at the things that I have seen throughout my time where I'm like, why are you here? This is not the place for you. But I'm the type of person that I like to give feedback and say, hey, look, don't take this the wrong way. But next time when you go to an interview, this is what you want to look like, because I'm just trying to help you out. Just like kind of what I'm doing here with this video that you're watching. So gentlemen, you can wear a nice long sleeve shirt with a tie, some slacks, nice shoes, dress up shoes. If you have a blazer, great. If you don't, that's fine. Certain offices as well, you can get away with like maybe a polo, but still, I would still recommend for a job interview, just come somewhat looking professional. Kind of dress like how you would if you were to be going to church. That's how I always like to share it and express it and compare it. How would you go to church? You're at church, you gotta cover up, you gotta dress up, you gotta be loose fitting, you gotta be presentable. Think of workplace kind of like you're going to church, not to the club. My sixth tip is to ask insightful questions. Just like we are interviewing you to make sure that you're a fit for our company, for our team, you also can interview us to make sure that we are a fit for you. That's what the interview is about. It is a two-way conversation. You do not have to feel like you are sitting on the hot seat, because that's not what it's supposed to be. It's not intended for you to be on the hot seat. An interview is to be a conversation, a formal conversation between two people, the job seeker and the hiring manager or the recruiter. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, are you a good fit for us? Can we see you working with the team and the team dynamics and all of that? That's what we're looking at. You want to ask also insightful questions. It could be anything from the company's cultures, the team dynamics, the expectations for the role. You can even ask about salary, about benefits, especially if it wasn't shared with you in the initial conversation. I would definitely say bring that up. Very important topics, very important questions to have. And remember to write them down. Jot them down on your phone, in your notes. Write them down on a piece of paper. Take that notebook or whatnot with you to the interview. And when you come to an interview with notes, you seem more prepared, more well put together, like you put thought and effort into it. And that's also a great way to set a great first impression, because now we're thinking, oh, you've really took the time to think about it. Maybe you looked on our website. Do you have questions about our mission statements, our vision? Do you have questions about maybe our charitable causes, donations, etc.? So you want to look at all of that and ask questions. And another great question to ask is, how do you like working here? Also, just personalizing those questions to whomever you're interviewing with, you'll also learn a lot more from them too. And you'll hear their stories. If they light up, oh my gosh, I've been working here for 5 years and I love it. Their CEO is amazing and da-da. Or they might be like, oh yeah, it's cool. It's not that bad. I've been here for some time and, it's all right. Then you'll finally know the difference. Like, okay, is this a great place to work at or not? The recruiter really should be trying to sell the company, but hey, sometimes you will get those real raw responses. That's why it's very important for you to have that two-way conversation. Lastly, my 7th tip is to follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. If you know that you want the job after you've talked to them, follow up with a thank you note. Send them an email. Remember to grab their business card, or if they had sent you an email inviting you or confirming the interview, send them an email back saying, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure meeting with you and the team. I enjoyed our conversation. I enjoyed learning more about the company, the culture, the role. I know that I'm a great fit for this position because I bring XYZ, as I mentioned. I'm looking forward to hearing back from you, and I hope to join the team very soon. Simple. You don't have to do too much, say too much, just a follow-up thank you. And especially you want to do it within the first 24 hours after your interview, so that way you can still be at top of mind, because that's also going to be part of your first impression. A lot of these things all in a whole come together, where we then look at, okay, did you put in the effort or not? Were you someone that we could really see within the company or not? So we're really asking ourselves, and especially if you were a part of a panel interview, trust me, everyone at the end of the interview is talking. Did you like that person? Did you like their answers? What do you think? What do you think? So trust, we are definitely talking. We're definitely trying to make sure that we're finding the right fit. And don't get discouraged either if you don't hear immediately back from us, because remember, alongside of you, we're interviewing 2, 3, 4, 5 other people. So there is competition, and we may have to spend that week interviewing, just scattering those interviews throughout. So the recruiter can also share that with you, or the hiring manager. Hey, we won't make a decision until next week, Monday. We've got other interviews this week, but we'll follow up with you. Whether if it's a yes or a no, we'll still follow up. But regardless, you still follow up with them even after those 24 hours have passed. So that was the end of my tips. I hope that you enjoyed learning these tips, and I hope that now you feel well prepared to make a lasting impression, especially in your next job interview. Remember, the confidence comes with preparations, and good luck to you. Let me know if you use any of these tips and you use it for your interviews, and hopefully you got the job. Send your comments down in the comments below. Share your questions. I will be answering questions. I am glad to help. That's what I'm here for, and I hope that you enjoyed today's conversation. See ya.